Hi there, it's Kevin with Gone Rogue Games here with the Star Wars Unlimited talk. So I just got a box from Asmodee. We are running the pre-release here at Gone Rogue Games, and I think I'm just going to do an unboxing of what we have here for the pre-release, as well as give you my first impressions of this game and give kind of my predictions of this, or what I think about this game entering in still an overall bear market. Like, we've seen some movement with Inklands from Lorcana that's still doing quite strong for a third set, which is kind of the make or break for a set. So Disney Lorcana seems to have legs, seems to have the player base, the community, the sales to back up a game that is going to at least last for the foreseeable future. But we still have games like Flesh and Blood and Pokemon and other TCGs that are of course, the collapse of MetaZoo, that are struggling in this post-pandemic, post-free money, post-speculative bubble kind of market that we're in with collectible card games, collectibles in general, trading card games, games in general. Like, we've seen massive layoffs across the board for most of the gaming industries. One of my friends, one of our long-term patrons, unfortunately was let go from PlayStation. And that's just a bad sign in general for this sort of demographic, this sort of the gaming collectibles. I mean, we are still very, very concerned here at our business about the future, even though we've seen kind of a good swing back in the right direction for Magic the Gathering. And again, strong sales of Lorcana that shows there still is legs for this industry, but there's still a lot of warning signs for the future. So that's my one big concern for Star Wars Unlimited, is I think it is a couple years late in entering the market. And if I were a game, this is the worst time that I'd be trying to enter into a market, is when everything is just cold to begin with. And the sales for Magic the Gathering are quite strong. I'm actually still very impressed with Magic, but Wizards of the Coast still, I think, is printing too much. I think that they are not gauging the situation. We're seeing Murders at Karlov Manor just absolutely collapse in value. We're still seeing like Dominator Remastered, Commander Masters, even though we've seen a huge increase in price of the dead product of yesteryears. So the Crimson Vows, the Midnight Hunts, the New Capennas, all those things have gone up. Baldur's Gate, which is a good sign, but I think it's still a bad sign that Wizards of the Coast is printing so much and not giving even more room for the market to recover. So I am kind of worried about that industry. But Star Wars, I think, is just very, very risky to be entering into a market that is super, super uncertain. So anyway, this is a new game called Star Wars Unlimited. It is being released by Fantasy Flights, which is like a subsidiary of Asmodee Games. So you go through Asmodee to get this product. It is going to be a game that is going to be supported exclusively, not so exclusive, but they want it to go through local game stores. So that's the model that they chose to go. There is like maps in place for, which is called the manufacturer acceptable price for this game. We don't know what the distribution for this game is going to look like. That is my one big concern. As you can see on this box, it's written upside down there, Fantasy Flights. Fantasy Flights has a track record for not managing games properly. They have done some very, very big games in the past, especially even Star Wars games, like the Star Wars, what's it called? I'm trying to think of the Star Wars dice game that they came out, which was super, super hot, went through its own little Dutch tuliping speculative bubble, and then just had a spectacular crash. So there was a lack of supply. People couldn't get in the game, and then when they finally did create the supply to meet the demand, it was too little too late. People moved on from the game. It didn't have the depth that they thought, and it had a spectacular crash. We're talking about thousands of dollars just evaporated, MetaZoo type of a crash for that particular game. And I think I still have some product around for that game. So Fantasy Flights have definitely done some bangers in the past. They've had some games that are definitely lasted the test of time. I believe that they still are, like the Star Wars Legions, the Star Wars. I think Shatterpoint's doing pretty bad though. That was always like a head scratcher, that they would create another miniature game that didn't have overlap with their already Star Wars Legion line. I'm surprised they didn't kind of go the route that Warhammer did with the kill teams versus just the big things. And from what I still understand is that the two games, the Shatterpoint and Legion, are still not compatible. Correct me if I'm wrong with those miniatures, but that's kind of crazy for an own manufacturer to compete with itself. And so again, I haven't been the most impressed with Fantasy Flights as far as them taking the right direction long-term for a game. And again, this was had good reviews at some of the conventions that there have been a lot of hype around this. But again, my concern is this is still a game that is entering a market that is very, very risky to enter. We have an overall bear kind of attitude towards collectibles, as we've seen everything from sports cards to watches to, unless it's Stanley Cups, things that are collectibles have gone down in the past couple of years, mainly due to the fact and I've talked about this until I'm blue in the face, just the absolute ridiculous decisions by our federal government with the printing of money, and not expecting that this sort of thing was going to happen. There would just be a run on all things collectible when you inject the market with so much money. But anyway, we'll kind of show some of these. I don't know if I'm going to open any of these and let you see the mats themselves. I probably will. These are the play mats. These are kind of cool. The problem with anything Star Wars that's licensed by Star Wars, especially from Gamegenic or Fantasy Flights or Asmodee, is you tend to pay a premium for these type of products. So these playmats are quite expensive to get. And so when you compare them to like Dragon Shield playmats, you compare them to everything else on the market. I mean, is it worth it just to get a playmat with Darth Vader on it? If so, then go for it. But yeah, it's not. It's more expensive than like Ultra Pro branded stuff from Magic the Gathering. So this game is supposed to be, they call it Star Wars Unlimited on purpose because this is supposed to be a limited run as well to meet the demand of the players. This is going to be a player, this is considered a trading card game, not a collectible card game, so they will print to demand. And they haven't given any sort of information on the print runs of this particular set, how it's going to be distributed going forward, if it, again, is going to have massive waves, if there's going to be one and dones, if there's going to be exclusives. And uncertainty can be good for these types of things. I actually prefer markets that don't get the Dutch tuliping treatment where everyone just loses their minds and then goes crazy on stuff. Most of those markets don't work out as well as Lorcana has been. I think that more people have lost money on Lorcana than made money on trying to get in on the early stuff. Speaking of which, I do think there will be another run of Lorcana first edition. I think that maybe Floodborne and Inklands will be safe for a while. But I think that the first chapter is going to get a reprint, so all the people that invested in that sort of stuff or speculated in that stuff, I think, are in for a rude awakening. And that's, again, I need to revive my Rogue Market channel. I say that all the time because there is a lot different strategies with speculation and investing, and I wish we'd get back to a market that is more investing than speculating, because speculating are very detrimental to games because it's all about the quick flip. A lot of times it attracts things like the crypto money that is just they don't have time or patience for markets. If things don't, 2x in a couple of months, they get frustrated and move on to something else. And what happens kind of with our culture, and not only that, but the ease of loans and being able to juggle money, is a lot of times it's just better to take that temporary loss on a product that didn't have that 2x and try to go for that next 2x than it is to really let a product appreciate, let demand actually bite into the supply where products are actually demanded rather than oversaturated. And the biggest problem with speculation, which could easily happen in this particular market, is say this game just takes off. It creates a kind of a secondary demand of the scalping that then takes place of people to try to get this product so they can resell. And what that does is it sends a missignal to the distributor and manufacturer that their game is actually hotter than it really is. And then it causes the massive reprints. And we've seen it time and time again. I don't know, I've always said that the buck stops with the manufacturer. They need to realize this, and unfortunately, they just need to bite the bullet. The thing they really need to do is incentivize distributors and stores that don't go that speculative scalping route, that they stick to these, that everyone needs to be on the same protocol of getting the inventory into the supply into the hands of the true demand, and kind of out of the hands of again the pump and dump type speculation that ends up happening. It's very, very tough though in this world because it requires the distributors and the stores and especially the manufacturers a bit more like self-policing with that, to know that, you know, stores are legit, stores are doing this the right way, and they're incentivizing actually play over, you know, quick profit and whatnot. So Asmodee is set up in that kind of role. That's why they've tried to make these relationships with stores, but they aren't immune to that as well. Of like the bad actors end up happening, that people get into markets and mess with stuff. So again, it will be very, very interesting with how this Star Wars Unlimited is handled. It does have an IP that is, of course, very, very desirable. Star Wars is always something that the nerds lose their minds over, but IPs are not always end all. That's what I was saying about Lorcana. In fact, I think that the IP for Lorcana is quite, of course, strong with Disney, but in actuality, I think the gameplay experience of Lorcana and just the absolute desire of the market right now of having an alternative to Magic the Gathering that still plays like Magic the Gathering was the perfect timing for Lorcana. Lorcana hit it perfectly with how they were able to enter the market. Now we'll have to see that with Star Wars Unlimited. Again, I haven't played the game. I don't know exactly how it plays out. I haven't read up much on it. Again, I'm supposed to do a pre-release for this soon and figure out how to do it and see. We do have some people signed up, so we'll see how fun that is. I'll have a link or somewhere to show if you are local in this area and you do want to participate in the Star Wars Unlimited pre-release. I'll have a link so you can sign up and join us for it. But again, I think that the main thing with this game, and what kind of a lot of these other games don't last the test of time, is IPs can only get you so far. If this game isn't enjoyable, people will move on. They'll go back to Magic the Gathering. No matter how hardcore Star Wars fans they are, they're gonna, you know, go on to the greener pastures. And unfortunately, I think we are really under this like TCG bubble where everything is trying to get to market with the TCG, because they saw once Magic the Gathering grossed that billion mark. I swear, didn't they do that in a year? They like Wizard Coast did over $1 billion. I think it just you know, all the salivation of all these other IPs saying, well, why can't we do this? Someone create us a card game so we can do that. And especially now with Lorcana coming to market and being so successful, I'm sure this is what this big push is. But the problem with that is a lot of these games aren't fleshed out like they should be. And again, they come to the market too soon. They come to the market under bad circumstances. And that is what you get, is end up a disaster with it. So good thing about this kind of stuff is I think this IP for like the accessories, like these type of accessories, regardless if the game dies, it won't be like a Keyforge where the IP is only strictly to that game, where Star Wars, you know, people want these deck boxes to play for Magic the Gathering. So these are kind of cool. So we got some deck boxes sent. So I bought kind of the pre-release package for Star Wars, and it should have enough stuff to get going. We have these unlimited little pins here for participating in the pre-release. So if you do play in this pre-release, you can come and get a Star Wars Unlimited pin. Man, this still reminds me of the COVID era. It was so absolutely nuts how everything was collectible. Everything was sought after. Everyone wanted a piece of the action, no matter how, you know, stupid it was, like a pin. And these things actually were worth of money. So I've been quite surprised at the craze of kind of the nerd collectibles world of what they will collect. But again, if people are collecting Stanley Cups, then a pin is definitely cooler than that. So we do have some pre-release packs here that will have the decks in here. So there's 6 booster packs. 19 counters, a quick start guide, a deck building guide, a divider card. We'll actually open up one of these and kind of show you. Hopefully I have enough. Yeah, we'll definitely open up one of these and show you the packs, open some packs for it. And again, it's I haven't even looked, is this even available on like TCG Player to sell? We got the launch kit here. Overall though, I still am a person that I don't think if you're a company, you should just roll over to Wizard of the Coast and be like, well, they got it cornered on the market, we shouldn't try. But again, you still should have, like, if you're going to enter this market, you really should have your ducks in a row and be ready to have a strong game and again, really play test the field. And the problem with Star Wars Limited 2 is I didn't really hear much information about it until it was like, oh, this is going to be the best thing ever. And I'm getting, you know, cornered by reps being like, you have to carry this game. There's so much interest. At Gen Con, everyone was just like losing their minds at how fun this game was. Got this little token box that keeps the tokens here with good old Luke Skywalker on there. But again, hype is one thing. There's so many games that have been so overhyped and had even insanely good reviews, at like the Gen Cons and whatnot, and they flame out. Shatterpoint's a good example again from this particular IP. And apologies if people came for like an unboxing. Welcome to my channel. This is what I do. I kind of just rant and talk my opinions. These are kind of cool here of, you know, what is my opinions of new games being released and kind of the odds and ends that go on at the store. So we have the deck pod combo. This is kind of cool. It carries your tokens and it carries your cards in there, and so I'm pretty sure it could be used for Magic the Gathering for dice. So I keep referring to that too because I think I've already damned this game before it's had a chance to go anywhere. But I mean, all in all, I think you have to be that kind of pessimism. Like a good amount of pessimism is definitely healthy because I've been burned by too much optimism in the past. In fact, most of my mistakes have come by optimism. I think less of my mistakes have actually come by pessimism. So here we go with another cool little deck box here. These are pricey though. These are some expensive stuff. This little kit here cost me quite a penny, so I better recoup this stuff. And it's mostly these accessories that are just super duper expensive. They are definitely cool. GameGenic's a great company. I love their product line. From their cheapo product line to their more premium stuff, GameGenic is a great product line, and we do a lot of business with them. We have I don't know if you can see in the background, we have the GameGenic shelf that is definitely our most popular shelf for accessories for people to buy. So they've just that company has definitely knocked out of the park with what they've delivered with their products. So more accessories here. Again, this ended up being mostly that, and then we'll open this sucker up. We got a loose pin here. Oh man, a lot of loose stuff in here. Just some stuff packaged down here. And I'm sure these are gonna be like what, posters? Oh, the point of sales kit. So unfortunately, I do not have room to set this up at my point of sales because we do eventually need to get a larger store. So what are the directions that we're trying to take with Gone Rogue Games? Retail, to be honest with everyone, retail's been brutal in the past couple of years. And it's just really, oftentimes, like the scalability of retail is just dismal. So like we'd like to keep our overhead super low here because, you know, scaling up at our retail business, yes, we could drive in more customers. Yes, we could hold more people for events. But from a kind of a cheap place, like a small store, to make that jump to a mid-sized store or a large store, you like, rent increases exponentially. It doesn't increase linearly. It's like to make that jump, you have to then have employees and you have to have an man. It's a big jump. So there's a lot of decision to make whether I want to go back more towards content creating, where I want to focus more on our city maybe growing and being able to support a bigger store. So anyway, I don't know why I got off topic here with like, I don't have room for this at my point of sales, just to kind of showcase your stuff. So we are full. We are to capacity here at Gone Rogue Games. The only way we could have more capacity is to kind of cannibalize our play space. And at that point, what's the point of having a store if you have no play space? So we are not going to do that. We are going to just force all of our products to deserve their spot at our store. So, okay, some cool little posters. I'll probably have Zach hang them up in our hallway, even though both Zach and I, ooh, this is a cool little window thing here. Yeah, these are nice little pop-ups, kind of the retro look of Star Wars. I wonder if they actually got these from old school posters of Star Wars. Yeah, that's a little neat here. Shows you how to put them all up here. But yeah, Zach and I are not Star Wars fans. In fact, Zach tried to get us killed at Star Wars Episode 7 or 6. What's the new one? Because he was just groaning so bad at that movie. And there's some people back from us that were like throwing popcorn at us, telling us to shut up because Zach was groaning so bad. So we got these little pop-ups. So maybe I'll send these off to people on the channel if they want one of these. Again, I just don't have any room for these suckers here for the pop-ups, but there are some cool Darth Vader. Man, it's already popping out stuff here. So, and again, as far as the direction this channel is concerned, I've been giving a lot of thought to it, of trying to proceed. Unfortunately, I go through big booms and busts. It's kind of my personality of when I really get into something, and then with that same vigor, you know, I kind of lose interest and get out of that. But anyway, let's go ahead and I'm going to crack one of these previous kits and kind of see what I think of the game and the quality of the cardboard, and see see what I think from first impressions. So you get this little deck box that is basically the same as like a Magic Gathering, super flimsy, little divider in it. And then we have the tokens, which I'm sure is to track damage counter on here. I mean, got a little pre-release building guide, so I will go ahead and build a deck later on. Again, like I said, we'll be hosting a pre-release here. So if you are a local, you can definitely come and check it out. And we'll have the dates and everything on that. Just check our usual socials here. All right, so anyway, we'll go ahead and open up a pack. So there's 16 cards in here. So, yeah, card quality seems good. Looks like the rare is going to be, you're going to get a rare to foil. So they're going to do the same thing that's similar to like Lorcana and Magic now. So the rare is going to have that little shiny thing in the center. And this actually looks like a double face card. So you got the shiny kind of counterfeit thing. So I'm sure Boba Fett is my rare. And then you have destinations, it looks like, as well as different vehicles. Open fire. And we got the recruit. I don't know how well this is showing up. You know, I'm recording this all on the gimbal. Hopefully it actually shows up pretty well. I'm trying to get good with this this camera. I have some announcements I want to make about this channel going forward, but I don't know if my plans are going to be able to come into fruition as the situation to where I want to travel continues to deteriorate. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to go, but I guess long story short, I think it'd be fun. I had this idea to go into certain areas of the world where might be struggling from certain conflicts and see how well stores are doing and see what the impact. Like a lot of people talk about the, the cost of war on, territorial levels and human life levels, but I think we don't really explore the concept of what it has on a day-to-day level. Like my niche, like what is my niche doing? There's stores throughout the world like mine. How do they operate in that sort of scenario? So anyway, I'll talk more about that as time goes on. I don't want to give too many promises yet, but it's a dream of mine to go and kind of shoot like a little documentary and interview the people and stuff. So anyway, there you go. I guess this might be the rare too. So this one has a little counterfeiting here. So it's Agent Callus from the Seeking the Rebels. So ambush you after you play this unit, he may be ready and attack the enemy unit. Oh, cool, it's got haste. So again, I don't know how much this is gonna be like Magic the Gathering. It looks like it has a power and toughness. Looks like it has a casting cost. With specific resources to cast it. You may draw a card, uses ability once each round whenever another unique unit's defeated. So it's got sort of that flow. So again, is this going to be another kind of Magic Light game? We were laughing so hard when we opened up Mickey Trumpeteer in Lorcana and his word-for-word copy of Elvish Piper. I'm like, geez, people aren't even trying anymore with design, that they're just going to rip off Magic. I guess it's just easier. Why try to reinvent the wheel if cards that have functionality that work in a certain way exist in another game? But it's just funny with Lorcana where Mickey Mouse Trumpeteer, Elvish Piper, so it's still a pipe versus a trumpet, had the exact same casting cost, had basically the same activation cost. I thought it was hilarious. And our foil here, which the foil looks fine, looks pretty decent. I mean, this is very similar to most of the stuff that, this is good little card quality. It's the run of the mill. And the foiling pops on this one. Hasn't curled yet, which is always good. The backs of the cards are kind of neat. So overall impression, I'm sure this game, we'll see if it can be interesting enough. Like, again, I don't really have the desire as far as the IP is concerned to play this, but I've always said I'll play any game regardless of the IP. Like, one of my favorite board games is, a lot of them are like historical, like board games that don't really make sense why they're historical board games, and they end up being incredibly fun. It's always the joke in board games with viticulture is like the most boring thing in the entire world. You're creating wine. Like, what is more boring than that? And it's actually a really good game. So I'm not going to judge a book by its cover, or in this case by the IP, and give the sucker a shot and see how well I like it. But this will be available to order if you are a patron of ours. Again, I have some announcements for that to make too. We're going to restructure how we do a lot of this stuff. I think I am going to make more of a move online where selling to more non-patrons at a higher premium as well as trying to just focus more on that market. I think it'd bleed really well into content creation. Like I'm just really starting to think of new routes to go, things that would perk my interest, goals that I can work on and whatnot. And I know I say this like a broken record on this channel over and over and over again, but I guess the only way is to move forward. Let's go ahead and open up this launch kit, see what's in this launch kit before we finish this video. It's been kind of a long overview video of Star Wars Unlimited. I wonder how many people are still here with me, as I am way too long-winded today. So it happens when I don't get sleep, then all I want to do is talk all day. It's like everyone else wants to sleep all day when they don't get sleep, and I just want to talk. So looks like we got this cool little promo. It is probably to give out to the winner. So it's going to be a Darth Vader, maybe not. So we got Darth Vader and Luke Skywalkers that are Judge foils. Okay, so they're Judge foils on the Luke Skywalker and the Darth Vader. Is probably going to be giving out to the top 4 for this one, I would assume, or maybe the top 2. I'm sure it tells you how it's awarded. Nope, no, they're giving out to judges, duh. So I guess the judges that don't exist in our premier, like some people are judges already. Like who are the judges? They have to take a judge program already for this sort of pre-release. We got another poster here. If you would like this is a pre-release one. Maybe one of these wall like posters too. If we don't end up hanging them in the wall, if you'd like one, we'll maybe do something for it. And then we have, last but not least, we have it looks like these shield tokens. I'm not sure what they're, so they're going to be destinations and shield tokens that are probably just given out as promos for playing in the event. So again, I hope this video was enjoyable and it was all nice and crisp and focused. This is a new camera we're trying out, so bear with us as we get everything in order here at Gonro Games. And if you enjoyed this type of content, of course, be sure to give a like and subscribe and all that good stuff to help the channel grow and reach more audiences. Therefore, we can produce more videos and all that good stuff. So if you are interested, of course, in playing the pre-release, come down to our local store or look at our socials, and we will have everything up of where to sign up and how to join. And if you're our patron, be looking for posts on this for ordering this game in the future as it becomes more available. I'm sure there will be plenty of these accessories if you even want these sort of accessories for Magic the Gathering. They will be available. Anyway, as always, thanks for watching.